Hello everyone, it's been a few months and now we're getting towards Christmas and it's time for me to get my little black book out. It's brown but it's full of little bits that I've been using over the years, the festive period, just to make some homemade treats. Today I'm doing cheese nibbles. Okay, it's basically a really cheesy, super cheesy cheese straw or thereabouts, right? You'll get my gist. What I've got here is 200 grams of grated mature cheddar. It's got to be mature. I've got 150 grams of self-raising flour. I've got some mustard powder, cayenne pepper, salt and pepper, and 100 grams of butter. It can be salted or unsalted. Cheese is quite salty, but it really doesn't matter. This is at room temperature, just to make it all bind quicker and easier. So it's just a case of putting everything in together and making a pastry, a cheesy pastry. I did literally have to microwave this for 10 seconds before we started because it was just too hard, because obviously it's the end of November, so room temperature still isn't particularly warm. Right, about 1/4 teaspoon of chili powder or cayenne pepper. It's not essential, but I like it. And about the same of mustard powder. Cheese and mustard really are good bedfellows. Just a twist of pepper and a twist of salt as well. I mean, these are great. You can make them actually just as cheese straws if you want. I tend to make them more interesting, as I say, by I make them into little balls, and I've got a little dish there with some cornichons, some small gherkins, and some pickled onions. I've made them with pickled chilies. They're really nice. Prawns is really nice. Anything like that, anything pickled, sun-dried tomato. I've even made a little ball of Stilton to go inside a cheese ball. So it's cheese and cheese, double cheese. Right, so what I'm doing is I'm bringing this together to make a pastry, as you can see. If you're struggling to bind it, you can always add a few drops of water. But you can see this is now starting to come together. I mean, how long did that take? 45 seconds. And what we're getting is, a pastry. A really cheesy pastry. And it's at this point you could, lightly flour your worktop and roll them out into cheese straws. I mean, I like the balls, the cheese balls, because it makes them look more interesting. The kids, they like them at picnics, they like them birthday parties, and all sorts. What we want to do, this will probably make about 30. We want to roll them into balls about that big, which is maybe an inch, just over an inch in diameter. And what we do is we can just push to make a pocket in them like that, and we just cover the cornichon with the pastry and roll it again, and that is literally all we're doing. So we got a little ball of cheesy goodness. And I mean, this is a bit laborious, I'll have to admit, but well worth it. I mean, I've been having these at Christmas time since I was a little child, which is more years than I care to remember. It always used to be just exclusively at Christmas, but of course now I'm making them myself, and my mother isn't. I can make them whenever I feel like it. I've got a preheated oven behind me, 200 degrees centigrade. These won't take much time at all, about 15 minutes once I've got them on the tray. And also, this will freeze perfectly well. I would not freeze it as a solid lump, but I would freeze it already prepared and ready to go. And then if ever you fancy a savoury snack, or you've got friends coming around or whatever, take them out of the freezer half an hour, 45 minutes before you want them. Just leave them on a tray to defrost, and cook them as you would if they were fully defrosted. These are the pickled onion ones. Look, I'm literally I've got a silver skin onion, I've cut it into 8. So I've just got a little wedge of pickled onion. But it's entirely your choice what you fill them with. Anything. You could even put say a piece of nut, a walnut, or some half a walnut in there, half a walnut, quarter of a walnut. You know, Christmas is a time for eating nuts as well, eating a lot of everything. But these, in particular, are a real favourite. You know, when you walk past certain baker's shops, you know, I can think of ones that sell the cheese straws, and you almost want to go and buy a bag of the smell. Well, it's that kind of thing. When these are cooking, the whole house just smells wonderful. Right, you want to set them out about that far apart, you know, 2 inches apart, because they will expand because of the self-raising flour. So I'm going to put them in the hot oven 15 minutes, and I shall see you in 15 minutes. Okay, right. So 15 minutes have passed. The timer has just gone, so we're going to remove them. As you can see, they've spread out a little bit now, and nice and golden brown. So we need to put them onto a cooling rack. Now these we'll keep in an airtight container for for 2 or 3 days. I mean, you know, because of high fat content and whatever, you don't need to worry about refrigerating them. But they are definitely best eaten warm. So I'll leave them for 20 minutes or so before eating them. I have obviously the rest. Whilst they were in the oven, I've cooked made the rest into balls into a Tupperware, and I'm just going to freeze those and take them out nearer to the big day. Let's just crack one open. If you could smell it in here, honestly, you can almost feel yourself putting on weight just by sniffing it. I mean, there you go. I'm going to risk a life and limb now by trying this red hot. Almost. Very hot, but really tasty. Because of the Cornish on in that one and the pickle, you get the real contrast with the cheese. I mean, it's glorious. Please try it. Anyway, I'll see you again. Bon appetit.